All right, guys, the Utah Jazz got a huge win against the San Antonio Spurs. This is the Hoops Nerd Show. Guys, this was, I thought last game looked like a turning point game to me, and tonight confirmed it. Utah looks phenomenal. Tonight's game with the Utah Jazz looked absolutely, they just looked like a dominant team. But before we talk about the Jazz, let's talk about the Spurs. Not a lot to say when you have a team get blown out by the Jazz. It's hard to find things. I know LaMarcus Aldridge didn't play tonight, so you didn't really get that stretch big for the Spurs. But, one player I really like is Keldon Johnson. He looks like they've got a legit player in him. I don't know what he was picked last, it's his second year it looks like, and I don't know what pick he was, but he wasn't like a high pick that I know of. I could be wrong. Let me know, Spurs fans. I'm sure you will. But he looks really nice. He's a nice wing. He's shooting like 40-something% from three this year. He's a nice piece to build around. If you can find the Spurs need to find that next guy a little bit because they're in this kind of crossroads point in their season. You've got DeMar DeRozan, you've got LaMarcus Aldridge, and then you've got some younger guys like DeJounte Murray, who I really like. I think he's a really nice player. I'd love to have him on the Jazz one day, to be honest. But they've got some nice young players, some nice older veteran players, but they're kind of middling a little bit in their record, and they're like a fringe playoff team at this point, it feels like. DeMar DeRozan's been really nice, though. His assists have been great. I know people are talking about his three-point shooting, but, it always kind of starts like that with him a little bit, and then he kind of goes back into what he is, which is that mid-range shooter. But it is nice that he's averaging like 8 assists per game. So that's really cool. But yeah, that's all I got to say, really. DeJounte Murray also tonight was introduced to Rudy Gobert. 1 for 13 for the game. That is Rudy Gobert. And that one sequence where he blocked 2 of his shots in a row was just like, this is Rudy Gobert. And guess what? That was a perfect example of what Rudy Gobert is as a defender. Anyone who says that Rudy Gobert can't guard on the perimeter, is incorrect. Because on that play, just show it to him. DeJounte Murray goes to the rim. What happens? Block shot. DeJounte Murray gets the rebound after being blocked, goes to the three-point line, tries to challenge Gobert, takes the three, block shot at the three-point line. And guess what? Rudy Gobert showed tonight he had 6 blocks. He can go to the perimeter and then roll to the rim and block shots. So phenomenal stuff from Rudy Gobert. He is absolutely in the running for DPOY this year. So anyways, I know we ended up talking about the Jazz, but that's all I got to say about the Spurs. Sorry, Spurs, you were kind of bad. That's okay. You'll get better, maybe. I don't know. But the Jazz look phenomenal. They look really good. Last game, they beat the Clippers. And by the way, the Clippers, last I checked, were up 20 on the Suns. That was a legit win for the Utah Jazz. And the Clippers were trying, and the Jazz were just dominant. I know the Clippers came back near the end, and the Jazz closed it out. And that was with Bojan, playing terribly last game. Tonight was another question. Bojan put on like the Nintendo Power Glove. That's what I'm going to call it. It was the Power Glove. What do you guys think? The Power Glove or the gauntlet from the Infinity Gauntlet from Endgame or whatever? Marvel, the superhero thing. It was either one of those. Maybe it wasn't it was probably the gauntlet, because you know how the NES Power Glove like never worked and you felt weird using it? Well, that's what it was last game, apparently, and now he's got the Infinity Gauntlet. Bojan somehow found the Infinity Stones in between last game and this one, so that helped him shoot. That's my only explanation, basically, for Bojan shooting, is the Infinity Stones. Look on that. It's, I guess that's a black one, a blue one, and a black one on Bojan's wrist, so that's what happened. And because tonight, Bojan was unbelievable from three. Shooting tonight, let's see, let's go look at Bojan's numbers. I don't believe he missed. Oh, he did miss. 6 for 7 from the three-point line. What are your guys' thoughts? Is that pretty good? I personally feel like 6 for 7 from 3 is really nice. I'll take that. If you're starting 3-4 wing is shooting 6 for 7 from 3, things are going to go well for your offense. It's that's probably safe to say. But Bojan looks great, and honestly, my thoughts on Bojan is I wish Bojan was more of a play finisher and not a playmaker. I feel like when Quinn has him making plays, it doesn't go as well. Like when Quinn has him in isolation, not as good. But when he's finishing plays, and when I say finishing plays, I mean receiving a pass from Donovan, kicking it out and shooting a spot up 3, or cutting to the rim and Rudy or Donovan or Conley or someone passing him the ball when he cuts to the rim. And he had a couple cuts to the rim that were really nice, and he finished 2 or 3, and one or two of them was with contact and one. So Bojan had a monster night tonight. I believe 28 points. Just a phenomenal turnaround game for him, and showed just how good Utah can be when he's healthy. He's fantastic, and having Bojan Bogdanovic play at this level makes the Jazz a contender. It just does. If you don't think so, go watch tonight and see how well the Jazz shoot. The other guy that looked really nice, and it's 2 games in a row that he's kind of figuring things out, is Donovan Mitchell. Now, people will mention his turnovers, and it probably seemed a little worse than it actually was. Donovan Mitchell had, by the way, 9 assists, 4 turnovers. Really nice stuff. It makes me actually really happy. Let's not get emotional here, but it's nice when the things you say come to fruition and the team wins. I mean, this is what we talked about last post game. 199 Jazz baby going all the way this year. Thank you, DW. Shout out to DW. Thank you, DW. But it's true. You see what happens when Donovan Mitchell passes the ball and kicks him out to 3-point shooters like Bojan. The Jazz look like flamethrowers on offense. And 9 assists for Donovan. And guess what? Like we said, if Donovan trusts the pass tonight, Donovan Mitchell, 8 for 17 from the field, 47%. Guess why? Because he wasn't taking every shot that he could. He was taking the right shots. And obviously he was making them, because tonight Donovan was 5 for 9. Tonight we got Bubble Donovan. He was magnificent. 22 points in 28 minutes on 17 shots with 9 assists. That's all NBA stuff. That's fantastic stuff. So anyone who has any questions about whether if Donovan Mitchell passes the ball, it makes the Jazz better, you got your answer tonight. He looked so good. So good. And so when Donovan keeps that up, the passing, and guess what? The 4 turnovers, that seems like a lot. Go look at James Harden's stats. James Harden averages about 5 turnovers per game. And you go look at all these other guys, these other high-level players. I bet you go look at LeBron, probably less. LeBron's out of this world. He's an alien. But the turnover rate is actually pretty high, And why is that? Because you're running the team. You're going to have bad passes here and there. Some of the passes from Donovan tonight were a little lazy. They weren't because sometimes you'll have the pass where they're trying to thread the needle, make an incredible play, and it gets turned over. And sometimes you'll just take that because they're trying to make a big play. The turnovers Donovan can do better at is just kind of these lazy passes. He had a couple of those where they went the other way and gave buckets to the Spurs. But so he can work on that, and that can get better. But having Donovan get 9 assists with 4 turnovers, you'll take that every game. That's phenomenal. Along with the 22 points, the nice shooting. I mean, he was fantastic tonight. So good. So good. And this is what we talked about. Now, if Donovan can average 8 to 9, not even 8 assists a game, or 9 assists a game. If he gets 9 assists a game, he's one of the best players in the league easily. And maybe he can do that. No reason why not, honestly. But if Donovan can average 7 assists a game, that's great. That's LeBron averages seasons like that. And so if Donovan can get to 7 assists a game, this Jazz team becomes nuclear. Thermonuclear, Omega level mutant level in X-Men, if we're on the superhero theme. It's how good they become. Mike Conley, just so solid for the Jazz this year. Mike Conley's really found his groove. Tonight, just a workman 6 for 11, 3 for 6 from 3. He's shooting 50% from 3, 15 points, 4 assists. Just an easy night for Mike Conley. By the way, 4 turnovers for Mike Conley, same as Donovan Mitchell. Telling you, good players who are making plays get turnovers. It just happens. Let's see. Emmanuel Kia, do you think the Jazz can win the championship this year? If they play like this, I think they have a chance. If Rudy Gobert is playing like he is, Donovan and Mike Conley can play like this, and Bojan's shooting like this, who can stop a Jazz team playing like this? Some of those turnovers were when the Jazz were up big and he was playing a bit loose. Mountain Hobbler. Yeah, a little bit, although a few in the beginning, they were pretty bad for Donovan. But 4 turnovers is not horrific. It's not too bad, especially when you've got when you got a 2-to-1 turnover ratio. Honestly, if you're playing Call of Duty, you have a 2-to-1 kill ratio. That's pretty good, right? It's pretty good in basketball too with assist to turnover ratio. Guys, it's looking like the stream. Okay, I think we're back. The stream went a little weird there. Anyways, talked about Bojan, talked about Donovan, talked about Mike Conley. The other one we've got to talk about is Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert has looked like such a absolute monster to start the season. And the reason that I love what Rudy Gobert is doing is that he is just looking like He's at peace with what's going on with the team. He got his contract, and so now he can just play basketball. He doesn't need to worry about proving his value, proving that he's worth a supermax contract. He looks just incredible. 6 blocks tonight. His plus minus, I'm sure, was just absolutely out of this world. Rudy Gobert, plus 18 for the game. Yep, just monster stuff. And he is just like dominating inside, and he's taking everything that comes to him. He's not forcing things. He's just making it happen. So Rudy just looks fantastic. I don't care what Shaquille O'Neal says about Rudy Gobert. Shaquille O'Neal does not watch the Jazz very often, and if he did, he would just see how much Rudy Gobert helps the Jazz win. There's a reason that Rudy Gobert has helped the Jazz go to the playoffs. Whether it was with Donovan Mitchell or Gordon Hayward, the Jazz were in the playoffs, and the common denominator with those things was Rudy Gobert. It just was. So, Rudy Gobert has been dominant. He is looking like Defensive Player of the Year again. He looks fantastic. And tonight, people like DeJounte Murray found out just how good he was. Dark Winter, don't forget about Royce. Yes, let's talk about Royce. Royce hit big shots tonight, and Royce has played really well this season. Royce is rebounding the ball. He's moving the ball. Per 36, he's like an 8.88 average. He's playing phenomenal. He actually led the team in minutes tonight. No Jazz player was over 30 minutes. Royce O'Neal was at 29. 11 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. That's really good. That's really, really good. And he's taking the spot up 3 just like you want him to. And he's hitting it. Royce is a really good shooter. When he just takes those spot up 3s and he's just taking what comes to him, fantastic. But Royce is a good passer too. 5 assists, guys. That's super special. And then the 11 rebounds. I mean, he is doing everything you want him to do. And he has proven that he is worth his contract. Anyone who says otherwise, it's like, you could say maybe not that great, but I don't know what's going on with this stream, guys. It's going really weird. But anyways, we'll just have to end there, I guess. The Jazz look phenomenal. They look great. That's a nice win for the Utah Jazz. Guys, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. We'll keep doing these live streams. It's hard with these... I don't know what's going on. It's giving me some sort of error. But anyways, like and subscribe to the channel, guys. And I will... Oh, and also, if you're on the SLC Dunk Podcast, because we're posting this to SLC Dunk Podcast, thank you for listening to this. I'll make sure that you go and review on iTunes. I would appreciate it, guys. I will...